Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nodavi. In today's topic, I will bring a psychological profile of Mohammad Julani to you. So Abu Muhammad Julani, his real name is Abu Ahmad al-Shara. He is currently a de facto president of Syria and leader of Hayat Tahrir Sham. His psychology profile is divided. I have divided his psychology profile in different factors. Number one factor domain is his background, his past background. Before that, his upbringing. Before that, his grievances, his family background. So I will keep it. This video is minimum like 10 to 15 minutes. If I keep talking about his psychological profile, it's a long profiling. I'll keep it a few important factors. I will bring the psychological profiling and I will present to you. Muhammad al-Shara. Before we talk about Muhammad al-Shara, Ahmad al-Shara, Abu Muhammad al-Julani. Before we talk about Muhammad al-Julani, let's talk about his father. His father Hussein al-Shara, which is now currently living in Syria, and he is nearly 72 to 74 years old. He was oil engineer in Riyadh. But before oil engineer, he was actually a very famous economist in Syria. He has written more than 10-15 books on economy. So he was a very famous and very great economist, as well as he was an Arab nationalist. So though he was Arab nationalist, he was a supportive of revolt and rebellion nationalist movements against Ba'athist authoritarian regimes. So though he was in Syria, so in a young age, his father Ahmad Hussein al-Shara joined one rebellion organization, revolutionary organization, which his aim was to protest against Ba'athist regime of Syria and try to overthrow the Syrian government. And that government was led by President Hafiz al-Assad, the father of Bashar al-Assad. And then his father Hussein al-Shara, he was arrested by Hafiz al-Assad. He was imprisoned, tortured and imprisoned, and he stayed there in prison maybe quite a couple of years, 7, 8, 10 years. And then he was escaped from prison, and then he left Syria, and he continued his study. And during his study, his father Hussein al-Shara, he traveled to Jordan. Why did he travel to Jordan? Because he was very much inspired by Yasser Arafat, the leader of a PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. So he was very impressed. So he went to Jordan, and that time PLO headquarters was in Jordan. So he went to Jordan and he joined PLO. He met Yasser Arafat, he joined PLO, and his goal in PLO was to cooperate, coordinate, assisted, help to Palestinian fedayins, Palestinian terrorists, go to Israel and carry out terrorist activities under the banner of PLO. And who assisted, cooperated, and coordinated these attacks? His father, Julani's father, Hussein al-Shara. And after that, when mid of 70s, like after Yom Kippur War, 1973, he went back to Syria. And upon his arrival in Syria, he was arrested and again imprisoned by Hafiz al-Assad. And after that, he was released after a couple of years. God knows, 6, 8 years. And then he left Syria, and then he went to Riyadh. And Riyadh, he has become oil engineer. And after that, in 1982, Ahmad al-Shara, which is Abu Muhammad Julani, he born in Riyadh in 1982. And then in 1989, they moved back to Syria. So this is a background of his father. So his father was pro-Palestinian. He was a PLO activist, and he coordinated PLO terrorists. So that was one grievances, his grievances. Okay, keep this grievance family background aside. Okay, now talk about his youth. When he was in the university, he was very authoritarian person. He was always attend debate, and he was always at confrontation with students. When those students, those friends who wanted to undermine his opinion, and he became a very aggressive and very emotional, very aggressive, and he always used to leave the conversation and friendship because he didn't like someone undermine his opinion. So he was already he was an authoritarian type of person. And because he was studying medicine, and during medicines, when it was, because he admitted himself that he radicalized two events that hit his change, played a very crucial role in changing his ideology, and it drove his ideology, drawn himself into the Islamist extremism, jihadization. Number 8, which is admitted a first Palestinian Intifada, 2000. It really inspired him. And second after that, and when the Palestinian Intifada happened, he left Italy, and he leaned himself towards Islamization and jihadization. And then year after, when the 9/11 happened, then he completely left Syria, studied everything, and he joined Al-Qaeda and went to Iraq, and he started fighting against US forces in Iraq. From 2003 to 2006, 3 years, he was fighting against the US forces. In 2006, he was arrested by the US forces, and he was imprisoned. When he was imprisoned 5 years, it's exact, and then after 5 years, 2011, he released from prison, and exactly the same story like Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi of ISIS. He was arrested by US forces, imprisoned, and after imprisoned, he released, and after release, he joined Al-Qaeda, and after Al-Qaeda, he established his own organization, ISI, then ISIS, and IS, and then he was eliminated in Iraq and Syria, and then it's exactly the same thing. Mohammad al-Julani, he released, and he joined Al-Qaeda. He joined Al-Qaeda. Then he had a little bit confrontation with Al-Qaeda. And then before I said, because he was in a prison, and after release prison, he had a good ties and a good idea with Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, Al-Qaeda leader in Iraq, which inspired him to join Al-Qaeda. He joined Al-Qaeda. He was with Al-Qaeda some time. Then he has confrontation. Then he joined ISIS. When he joined ISIS, he was introduced by, before joining ISIS, he was introduced by one of the leader of ISIS to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi saw him, met him, so they had an agreement that he can go back to Syria, and he can start a new organization under his banner, ISIS banner, and he will provided funds, manpower, and arms. He went to Syria. Sometime he stayed with ISIS, and then he left ISIS because he wanted to, because he's of authoritarian nature. His authoritarian nature he doesn't want to work under someone. He wanted to be a rule. He wanted to be a rule in the organization. And when he grew his power in Syria, he's the main power, people joined his organization. He was a charismatic figure, and he was a background of fighting against US forces, as well as he was imprisoned. So he got experience, and he got a lot of influence in Syria. So people joined. Once Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi saw him, that he has become a good he has become leader of the organization. So he became great. He said he offered him that he can join his organization, merge his organization into ISIS, and which he refused. He left ISIS. He was approached by Zarqawi. Ayman al-Zahawi, and he agreed with Ayman al-Zahawi, and he established his organization, Al-Jabhat al-Nusra. From 2012 to 2016, Al-Jabhat al-Nusra. 5 years he was continuing his operations in Syria under the banner of Jihadist Journey, and after that he had a confrontation with al-Zahawi. Again, some issue was like authoritarian issue. He left Al-Qaeda, and then he transferred his organization into the new name, which is Jabhat al-Fatah al-Sham. So he focused on regional conflict because of the one grievance. Remember, I'm coming to his grievance, okay, later. So he focused only on Syria, and his goal was to overthrow the Syrian government of Bashar al-Assad, whose father imprisoned and tortured his father. So a personal grievance. And then he 6 months he ran his organization as Jabhat al-Fatah al-Sham. Then he joined. Then he established HTS, Hizb ut-Tahrir, Hayat al-Tahrir al-Sham. Hayat al-Tahrir al-Sham is not only the one organization; it's an organization of the 5-6 multiple jihad organization in the area. He joined all the jihad organization and he established Hayat al-Tahrir al-Sham. So become from one organization to another organization, from another organization to third, his own organization, from his own organization to another organization, and temporary 6-month organization. From that organization he changed again into the big picture of the organization, which was a combination of 5-6 jihad organizations. So he was now the head of the 5-6 Syrian jihadist, Sunni jihad organization. So when he give interviews and he said, oh well, he is changed. He's not in Al-Qaeda, he's not ISIS, he has changed the person. So in one way he's right that his change is in leadership, but he is not changed ideologically. He was a jihadist, he is jihadist, he will remain jihadist, because through his jihadist path he got to Syria. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So he has become authoritarian Islamist figure, and his name is Mohammad. And after when he become a jihadist, he kept his calling, his kunya name was kunya, like Abu Muhammad al-Golani. Golani is his nisbah. Nisbah means is attribution. So his attribution was attributed himself towards Golan Heights, and because his family originated from the Golan Heights. So his goal was to recapture Golan Heights into the Syrian territory. So that's why he kept his name is Golani, so people can remember him. He can remember himself that he belonged to Golan Heights, which are like administrative sovereign territory of Israel, and according to other people is occupied territory of the state of Israel. So cut in short, he then Hayat al-Tahrir al-Sham, he fought with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So he fought with somehow says with of Turkey or with the US forces. He helped US forces to eliminate ISIS and Al-Qaeda in the region. Why did he do so? His goal was to become a good boy, good baby in the eyes of Maghreb and the Western, and as well as to survive long, because these organizations did not I can say did not I can say whatever it's the word I could say. These organization head of these organization did not obey him, did not give him a free space, did not run his organization at the head of the organization. So therefore these organizations revolt to him. And remember, let me tell you one thing, the organization head of the famous terrorist organization, their life on the ground is no more than 10 years, unless they hid themselves. They hide themselves, and when they hide themselves, then whenever they come on the ground, they can be implemented. But this person is within 20 years. In 20 years, he joined as a jihadist cadre, and in 20 years, he became a head of the state of Syria. The lesson, he was very clever to change his path, and because he was not aggressive or emotional type of jihadist. He didn't want to be martyred. He wanted to be, because he remained authoritarian Islamist figure. So he always wanted to be rule the territory. He always wanted to be a solo authoritarian figure. What he say, like we say in do or die, don't say why. So he was the only person, he never wanted to listen to why. Whatever he say, do it or you can die. So he's other side of extreme person. He's other side of authoritarian person. Assad was other type. He was a nationalist authoritarian figure. He was Islamist. He is Islamist authoritarian figure. So now let me tell you one other things that he was actually, and now under 3 organizations under his leadership carried out suicide bombing across Israel, across Syria. Sorry, across Syria. So 3 organizations under his leadership, under his authority, under his commandment, carried out suicide bombing across Syria against Assad forces, as well as they committed massacres on ethnic cleansing of Shia Muslims in Syria, Druze of Syria, as well as Alawites, Assad's faction. So 3 organizations: Jabhat al-Nusra, 5 years, Jabhat al-Fatah al-Sham, 6 months, and Hayat al-Tahrir Sham further 5-6 years. So these organizations from 2012 to 2017, until he got Idlib, he had become the head of the governorate of Idlib. He carried out multiple suicide attacks and ethnic cleansing and massacres of the minorities. And after that, when he became head of the Idlib, he got fully support by some Western government as well as Turkey, full support of Turkey. Now he has become a head of, because this is what his goal was, to become a head of the state. So he's become head of the state. So he's wearing a suit and boot to make people fool that I'm a very moderate person. Actually, he's not. Hamas is wearing suit and boot as well. Syrians, IRGC wearing suit and boot as well. The Iranian leadership, they're wearing a suit and boot as well. Hezbollah leadership, they're wearing suit and boot as well when they go meet international delegations. So wearing suit belt does not mean he is reformed. He has never given up his jihadist ideology. Now his goal, now he become head of the state. Okay, now what is his goal is? Now his few goals. One goal was he can live there or walk, his movement should be without any fear or restriction by the international community. So he met American delegation, he met American mission in Syria, and he reassured them, he gave them a guarantee that American interest will be protected in Syria. So very second day, his bounty on 10 million on his head was revoked straight away by the US, which means he's not a terrorist. So he can operate, he can walk, his movement can be without any restriction anywhere in Syria. He can even fly to Qatar. He can even fly to Turkey. Now, first goal is achieved by become head of the state, Syria. Second goal he achieved, he was removed from the American terrorist list. Third goal will be to bring to remove sanctions on Syria by the United States Security Council. When it's done, then his fourth goal will be to bring money back to Syria, whether from Turkey, Qatar, Western governments, by any means, bring the money and give a good life to Syrian people, so that he has a backup of the street power of the Syrian people, because he has proved them that he is only Messiah to them, he is only savior to them. Do you understand? Now then, his goal will be to restore his lost military power. Remember this, when I say don't trust him, even the state of Israel didn't trust him. Soon after the fall of Damascus, the state of Israel carried out more than 450 strikes, military strikes, against Syrian military capability and to destroy Syrian strategic weapons, including missiles, rockets, naval bases, ships, air force planes, ammunition depots, military bases, complete destroy, because Israel never trusts this person. Neither I, neither you people. So this person has become an Islamist authority figure. Now his another goal will be one by one. He's very clever. He's achieving one goal, one after other. Now another goal will be to overthrow two governments, which is Jordanian government and Egyptian government. So his plan is to overthrow these governments through the people, through the public, like he did. As well as, now let me tell you one thing. People say, okay, he's a reformist. He's not a reformist. How can he be reformist? Because through his jihadist path, he achieves goal after goal, one after other goal. And through his jihadist past, he has become as head of the state of Syria. How can he give up? How can he be reformed? Because according to his mentality, jihad gave him everything. Number one. Number two, look at his grievances. His grievances was Palestine. His grievances are Golan Heights. His grievances are taking revenge from Assad family, revenge of his father's prisoner torture. And he was he assisted Hamas. Hamas people, terrorists, got trained in Idlib. We have information. I can't share everything here on public. He supported, he never criticized, he never condemned October 7. He supported October 7. And when he says that he has, Israel should not be fear of him, or Israel cannot be fear of him. Okay? But he said he's not a threat to Israel. Well, because Israel never let him be a threat. Israel eliminated, destroyed his capability, military capability to be a threat. So he has only this statement remain behind to say, oh, well, I'm not a threat to Israel. Well, he can't be now. Even if he want to, he can't be. Israel has achieved his goal because Israel has cut Iranian axis of resistance, because Syria was the main hub of the transportation, supply arms, ammunition and manpower from Afghanistan, from Pakistan, from Iran, from Iraq, and within Syria to Lebanon to assist Hezbollah. Fatimian Brigade from Afghanistan, Zainabin Brigade from Pakistan, and Iraq Popular Mobilization Front, PMF, Liva Fatimian and Ahl al-Haq and Houthis in Yemen, and Hamas in PIJ in Gaza, and Hezbollah obviously in Lebanon. So these were the axis of Iranian, and the supply route was in Syria. Supply route was Highway 11, Highway 1, Highway 4. These were the supply routes. So axis of, is a big blow to the Iranian axis of resistance. It's nearly cut off from the middle. So when because he has a personal grievances, personal revenge from the Iranians. So if he is giving any statement against Iran, against Hezbollah, does not mean that he's a friend of the Western people. He's a friend of Israel. Also. He is a friend of the Arab countries. No, he is actually not. Let me tell you one thing, and again, I'm going to tell you, when who was a vice president, Farouk al-Shara? Go and Google it. Farouk al-Shara is a prime vice president. He remained a vice president of Syria under the Assad regime from 2006 to 2016, I think, or from 2009 to 16. Most probably from 2006 to 16, Farouk al-Shara was a vice president of Syria under the Assad regime. And who is Imam Farooq al-Shara? Farooq al-Shara is actually Ahmad al-Shara Abu Muhammad Julani's uncle, his father's cousin. So his father's first cousin was a vice president of Assad government, vice president of the state of Syria. And now his nephew Ahmad al-Shara has become president of Syria. And his Ahmad Shara's brother, what is his name? Ahrar Shara or something. He is now health minister because he's a physician. So he's a health minister in new de facto national government of Syria. So Ahmad al-Shara's uncle remained 10 years vice president of Syria under Assad regime. And he is now president of Syria. His father is a minister of health in Syria. So people need to understand, you need to see, you need to find, you can read psychological, you can see this, read the past, you read the psychological profile of the person. You can see his grievances, his goal, his nature, his religious career, his jihadist path, and his achievement, and his future aims, future goals. So now jihadists in the world, they are dancing in the street, they are celebrating. He could be a very good person for Syrian people. He could be very good city for the Syrian people, but not in the world, not in the neighboring countries. A jihadist Islamist celebrating his victory because Islamist jihadists have got a second land in the world. One, Taliban, Afghanistan under Taliban is a heaven for jihadists. Now in the Middle East, which country is heaven for the jihadists? Syria, not Iran, not Lebanon, not Iraq. Syria is heaven for world's jihadist organization movements in the Middle East. So, and who are the financiers of these countries, these jihadist lands, jihadist souls, jihadist heavens? Qatar and Turkey. Now there will be, now obviously some Western countries will obviously support him because of their interest in the Middle East. But ladies and gentlemen, this is my half an hour video, nearly. What I'm trying to convince, that I'm not a judgmental person. I don't judge person quickly. I see his psychological profiling, his past, his ideological factors, his statements. He always changes his statement. Like at one point, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi saying to his leader that I don't trust go and find in Syria, go and see Ahmad al-Shara, what he's doing, Abu Ahmad Julani, because he looks suspicious. When he came back to his leader, came back from visiting him, and so his old strategy back to Abu Bakr Baghdadi and told Abu Bakr Baghdadi that he's a two-faced person. He's a very dangerous, never trust him. He only is like a selfish and two-faced person. He's always keep his own interests close to him, no other ones. He always use and misuse other people. And then Baghdadi started distrusting. So ladies and gentlemen, this person is not a two-faced. I'm sorry, I don't agree with him. He's not two-faced, he's a 10 faces. He's a 10 faces. Some states in the Middle East are really under real serious threat by him. So thank you very much for listening. My half an hour long video. I can talk on this on and on. I was trying to keep a minimum to 10 to 15 minutes, but I'm sorry I can't because the topic is so long. I wanted to cover every angle of his psychological profiling so people can understand what I'm trying to convey the message. Thank you very much for listening. And God bless you. I will see you on another topic. Thank you. Bye-bye.